Sweden, home to beautiful cityscape, frozen wastelands, flat-pack furniture, and the world's most famous meme generator. This is the history of Sweden. When the ice covering Scandinavia retracted, the first migrators moved in. They lived off hunting, gathering, and fishing, and used simple stone tools. During the early Iron Age, the population of Sweden settled, and agriculture set the foundation for economy and society. Between year 550 and 800, Sweden entered the Vendel period. They established trade to the east, laying the foundation for the extensive trade Sweden saw during their next period, the Viking Age. This was a period of significant increase in Scandinavian activity. For Sweden, it was also a period of both economic and political flourish. Sweden's main focus was towards the east. Using the longships, they both plundered and traded along the Baltic coasts. They also sailed up rivers deep into modern-day Russia, where they established colonies. They traveled as far as the Black and the Caspian Sea, and established trade with both Arab kingdoms and the Byzantine Empire. In the latter, the Varangian Guard was an elite unit where several Swedish Vikings served. Ansgar, arriving from the Frankish Empire, was the first to introduce Sweden to Christianity, but it would take several decades for the country to be converted. In the late Viking Age, Erik Segerkjell might have been the first king to rule over both the Svear and Götar tribes, with his son Olaf Palme continuing the process. In that sense, they are believed to have set the foundations for a unified Sweden. Years following in the Viking Age show that the unification of Sweden would be a long process, and a long-lasting conflict between the Erik and Sverker clans ensued. The conflict eventually got resolved by creating a new dynasty, the House of Bjelbo. Beginning in the 1200s, Birger Jarl and his successor consolidated the unification of Sweden and acquired Finland through several crusades. Birger Jarl is also credited for founding Stockholm, the modern-day capital of Sweden. This city became an important trade hub for distribution of the minerals mined in Sweden's inland. In the late 1200s, the nobility got their first privileges, and society got organized into a feudal model. But it was somewhat different compared to the rest of Europe, with the farmers being to a large extent free. In the early 1300s, Sweden and Norway were joined in a union under King Magnus Erikson. In the beginning of his rule, Denmark was in a state of distress. He used this opportunity to buy Scania from the Danes. However, Denmark would only decades later take the area back, as well as the island of Gotland. The loss of these rich areas made Sweden weaker. The Black Death reached Sweden in 1350 and led to economic and population decline, but all things considered, Sweden quickly rose again. The late 1300s saw internal conflict as the nobility was dissatisfied with Magnus and wanted Albert of Mecklenburg on the throne. Albert eventually succeeded after 8 years of civil war. However, he gradually lost much of his support, and with the help of the Danish ruler Margaret, he was dethroned and Sweden joined the Kalmar Union. Margaret was a brilliant diplomat, but the rulers following her could not boast to be equal. Thus, following Margaret's death, the union soon ran into problems, much due to a dissatisfied nobility. The first major conflict was the Engelbrekt Rebellion, which set a precedent for Sweden's claim to sovereignty. The Riksdag, essentially Sweden's parliament, was also founded during this time. The discontent towards Danish rule climaxed when 80 Swedish nobles were executed by the order of the Danish king in an event known as the Stockholm Bloodbath. Gustav Vasa, whom had lost his father in a bloodbath, rose to lead the rebellion against Denmark. He was successful, and in 1523 he became king of a now free Sweden. Vasa introduced the Protestant Reformation, confiscating all estates belonging to the church. He focused on strengthening the economy, the army, the fleet, and on regaining control of the trade which was dominated by the Hansa. For many, Vasa is considered the father of the modern Swedish state. Following Vasa's rule, Sweden's foreign meddling became more active, with a focus on gaining dominion over the Baltic Sea. The Swedes expanded into the Baltics through several successful wars, and the following years would see Sweden in an almost constant state of war, with Sweden becoming more and more powerful. In the early 1600s, Gustavus Adolphus became king, and he knew that if Sweden were to become a major power, he had to restructure and modernize the army, so he did just that. He also bettered the taxation system, drastically improving the state finances. Adolphus was also a brilliant military strategist and is by many considered the father of modern warfare. The 30 Years' War was a devastating religious conflict that started in the Holy Roman Empire, modern-day Germany, but soon spread to the other European powers. Adolphus perhaps saw this as an opportunity to further strengthen Sweden, so he joined the game playing on the Protestant side. He won a significant battle against the Emperor's army, but in a later battle, Adolphus was killed. This did not stop Sweden, which now had several brilliant generals under their wing, leading Sweden to victory in the 30 Years' War, as you can see here.
First blood. Double kill. Dominating. Godlike. Killing spree. Unstoppable. Monster kill.
This resulted in Sweden gaining land in the Baltics and northern Germany, as well as gaining back Gotland from the Danes. Sweden was also victorious in the Second Northern War, acquiring much new land, including Skåne and Trondheim's Län. This made Sweden stronger than their longtime Danish rival, and Sweden was now one of the great powers of Europe. Sweden even founded a short-lived colony in what is now Delaware in North America. However, the years following Adolphus would soon prove to be a challenge for Sweden. Through several more or less successful wars, Sweden consolidated their power in the Baltics. But starting in the year 1700, Sweden found itself in war against most of their neighbors, in a conflict known as the Great Northern War. This war saw Sweden pitted against a large coalition with Russia as the main threat. Sweden experienced initial success, with King Karl XII leading Sweden into some of history's most impressive victories.
Hello there. I am Charles XII, by the grace of God, King of Sweden, the Goth and Wends, Grand Prince of Finland, Duke of Scania, Estonia, Livonia, and Karelia, Lord of Ingria, Duke of Bremen-Verden, and Pomerania, Prince of Rügen, and Lord of Wismar, and also Count Palatine by the Rhine, Duke of Bavaria, Count of Zweibrück and Clairvaux, as well as Duke of Jülich, Clair, and Berg, Lord of Valence, Spamheim, Ramsberg, and Lord of Ramstein. But you can call me Karl.
But when he attempted to march onto Moscow, his army was severely weakened, and the war shifted in favor of Russia. When Karl returned to Sweden after his losses in Russia, he raised a new army to conquer Norway. This campaign failed when Karl was shot and killed during the siege of Fredriksten Fortress. The Northern War ended with Sweden defeated, and they lost much of the Baltic lands. In the years following Karl's death, the Swedish Parliament was strong enough to introduce a new constitution that abolished royal absolutism. The following years would see more wars with more loss of land, as well as economic decline. On the bright side, it was also a period of scientific advancement, with Swedes such as Carl von Linné and Anders Celsius reaching fame across Europe. The following years saw little military success, but when Sweden found itself forced to join the Napoleonic Wars, they joined England's side as they were important for Sweden's iron trade. During the wars, a French marshal, Karl Johan, was elected as future king of Sweden. He soon realized that it would be impossible to conquer back Finland from Russia. Instead, he saw an opportunity to acquire Norway. He signed a treaty with Great Britain, promising to join in the coalition against Napoleon in trade of Norway. The Swedish army marched to victory in Denmark, and Sweden acquired Norway in 1814 in the Treaty of Kiel. The time after the Napoleonic Wars saw a shift in politics, with several liberal reforms being implemented. Throughout the 1800s, Sweden moved towards industrialism and parliamentarism. Direct democracy was introduced, but the amount of voters was very limited. Industrialization of Sweden was slow, and in the late 19th century, 90% of the people still earned their livelihood from agriculture, even though the 19th century saw a dramatic increase in population. In addition, more than 1 million Swedes emigrated to America. Sweden's perhaps most famous person also lived during this period, Alfred Nobel, inventor of dynamite and much more, with his will laying the foundation for the Nobel Prizes in Science and Peace. In the early 1900s, industrialization gained serious traction, and in just a few decades, Sweden became one of Europe's leading industrial nations. In 1905, the union with Norway came to an end. In the following years, all men gained the right to vote, and the Social Democratic Party experienced growth. Sweden declared itself neutral during the First World War. During the interwar period, Sweden tried to acquire the Åland Islands through diplomacy, but it was rejected in the League of Nations. Plans for a welfare state were drawn up during the 1930s after the Social Democrats rose to power, and were put into effect after World War II, where Sweden again was neutral. Unlike most of Europe, Sweden was not ravaged by the war, and they experienced an ever-expanding industry and economy with a doubling of their GDP from 1950 to 1970. Sweden's welfare system went through several improvements, perhaps being the best in the world. However, like several other countries, the 1973 oil crisis had a big impact on Sweden, and many became unemployed. While the other Scandinavian countries joined NATO after the Second World War, Sweden maintained their path of neutrality, relying on a strong defensive force.
In 1976, a coalition put an end to the social democratic hegemony, but the following years saw political turmoil, much due to a heated discussion concerning nuclear power.
In 1982, the Social Democrats once again won the election, but a few years later the Prime Minister, Olaf Palme, was murdered openly in the streets. They never caught the killer, and the murder had a great impact all across Scandinavia, some asking if Sweden now had lost its innocence. The early 90s saw a financial crisis in Sweden, in part caused by a real estate bubble. To get out of the crisis, Sweden had to reduce the welfare benefits and privatize parts of the public sector. In 1994, the worst accident in modern Swedish history occurred, as the car ferry MS Estonia sank in the Baltic Sea, claiming 852 lives. A year later, Sweden joined the EU, but they refrained from using the euro. In the year 2000, the Øresund Bridge opened, combining Sweden with Denmark. Today, Sweden still maintains their path of neutrality and is one of the world's richest and most developed countries. From humble beginnings, towards a Nordic empire, amassing too many rivals, to a path of neutrality and once again prosperity. That was the history of Sweden. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, carry on. Or as the Swedish would say, ingen ko på isen.